This is Nightline.
Tonight, held hostage.
My name is Barry Rosen, and it's 47 years since I was a hostage in Iran.
Fresh reflections from two Americans held captive decades ago.
Day 333 for the American hostages.
Examining the crisis then and the war today.
Even at my age right now, I feel the impact and the effects of that takeover. It has not left me at all.
And inside Iran, what some are calling the most intensive day of bombings yet, as President Trump demands unconditional surrender.
What say you about where Iran is now, days into this war? Is it better off?
War with Iran. Nightline special coverage continues. Tonight is day 7. Plus, Harry Styles. The As It Was singer opening up about the death of his One Direction bandmate, Liam Payne.
So difficult to lose a friend who is so like you in so many ways.
And how he says it changed the way he looked at his own life. And remembering the Reverend Jesse Jackson, the former president, celebrating his life and legacy. And Jennifer Hudson's moving rendition of A Change Is Gonna Come.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline.
Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with an alarming development in the Middle East. Sources telling ABC News the U.S. suspects that Russia has been providing Iran with intelligence on the locations of American troops in the region. 1 week into the war, we also look back at the connection between the Iran hostage crisis decades ago and the regime that now faces President Trump's demand of unconditional surrender. On day 7 of the war with Iran, here's my Nightline co-anchor, Byron Pitts.
So this is where it all starts. These two photos are photos of me and my first days in Iran at the police academy when I was a Peace Corps volunteer. I felt that I belonged there. It was a place, it was my second home.
It can be said that in our lives we'll have two homes, the one we're born into and the one we make ourselves.
That was the time where I started to fall in love with Iran. The entire city itself, Tehran, was busy, but it was exciting.
Barry Rosen spent his career making a home far away from his Brooklyn roots. In the 70s, that home, Iran, where he served as a press attaché at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. But in 1979, a harrowing moment in the country he loved would forever change his life in the course of history.
My name is Barry Rosen, and it's 47 years since I was a hostage in Iran.
For 444 days, Barry and 51 other Americans lived in captivity, taken hostage by Iranian revolutionaries, many of them college students, who broke into and seized the embassy.
I knew that we were in for trouble.
Barry is one of few Americans who saw the birth of the Iranian regime from the inside. A regime that America and Israel are now trying to topple.
What say you about where Iran is now, days into this war? Is it better off?
I think it is not better off, but I do think that the decision by the Trump administration or the thought that this was going to be easy is absolutely ridiculous. The United States can decapitate as many people as they want, but the infrastructure, the deep state in Iran will continue.
John Limbert, a former U.S. diplomat who spent his early career in Iran, was also one of the 52 American hostages. News of war breaking out in Iran hitting close to home.
I was sick at heart. I was been so discouraged and still am.
Because?
Because for decades, really, not just me, but myself, many good colleagues, many friends, many Iranian friends have worked very hard to avert just such an event.
What sentence would you use to describe your captivity?
It's a festering sore that really started 47 years of enmity, hostility between our two countries, which has been a tragedy, and it's led to what has happened, the tragedy that has happened recently.
On day 7 of the war with Iran, people from inside the country describing the most intense bombing of the campaign so far. Israel saying it struck more than 400 targets in one day. President Trump demanding Iran's unconditional surrender. The conflict widening even over into Lebanon. A mass evacuation order in the nation's capital. Smoke billowing from the city. The IDF confirming that the wave of strikes are targeting Hezbollah. And Iran is continuing to retaliate. Iranian missile debris igniting this fire at a military base in Kuwait, where U.S. troops are stationed. No injuries reported. But an alarming development, sources telling ABC News. The U.S. believes Russia has been providing Iran with the locations of American troops in the region, including aircraft and ships. The White House downplaying the impact of Russia assisting Iran.
It clearly is not making a difference with respect to the military operations in Iran, because we are completely decimating them.
And while the U.S. says at least 27,000 Americans have safely returned home from the Middle East, concern remains for all those who have to endure this war from the inside.
I think that the Iranian people are going through hell. And I'm thinking mostly about those Iranians who really believe that, or want to believe that there is a better life for themselves, because they've been living so badly in the last 47 years.
In the late 70s, people watched around the world as the Iranian Revolution erupted.
As I was riding into Tehran, a taxi cab driver was very nervous. I could see banks were burned. I could see Centurion tanks in the streets.
Revolutionaries ousted the Shah, an American-backed monarch, from power, forcing him into exile in 1979. The head of the rebel faction, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, took control.
You have said the date November 4th, 1979 will be forever etched in your memory. Say more.
Well, it was an existential moment in my life. They came over the walls, broke open the doors, was telling all my people in my office, translators and others, stay back. And they came in with clubs. I was punched in the stomach, beaten up, knocked down, and then tied up.
These images of American hostages paraded in front of the cameras for the world to see was the beginning of what would become known as the Iran hostage crisis.
The president's advisors feel that military intervention would be the surest way of getting the hostages killed.
It's very hard, but I want my son home. I want him back.
As days dragged on, the world watching and waiting.
Good evening. This is a new broadcast, day 142 of the Iran.
It is day 208.
Day 333 for the American hostages.
The crisis dragged on for nearly a year and a half, many criticizing President Jimmy Carter for his failure to rescue the hostages. John Limbrick was a Foreign Service officer at the U.S. Embassy when he was taken hostage.
Did you fear for your life at some point during that?
There were times, sure. There were times I did. I was afraid right at the beginning.
His wife Parvineh is Iranian and watched from afar as her husband endured those 15 months in prison.
You've described what it was like for you being in captivity. What was it like for you?
For me, it was very difficult because I was in Saudi Arabia. I had 2 kids with me, and I tried to keep them away from the news. That was very difficult. 444 days for me was the worst part of my life.
During his captivity, John meeting Iran's most recent supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, whose killing marked the beginning of this latest conflict.
At the time, he was not a very senior figure. I mean, he was relatively young for a clergyman. He was in his 40s, a little older than me.
What was your sense of him?
Hard to say. He wasn't dumb. He didn't preach at me. Someone asked me once, was he evil? Is he this or that? I said, well, look, he's a political leader of an authoritarian state. He'll do what he needs to do to stay in power. And if it means slaughtering his own citizens, he'll do that.
After weeks of negotiations,
today I'm going to have a lot to smile about and much gratitude.
America finally secured the release of all the hostages in 1981.
The planes took off January 20th on Tehran time, and it was half an hour after Ronald Reagan had been sworn in.
Once we passed Iranian airspace, we were over Turkey, champagne broke out, and we started to laugh. This part of my life is over.
You were free.
Free.
Glad to be out. Glad to see all these smiling faces.
The warm reception, the flight, everything. It was just absolutely fantastic. Much better than the last 15 months.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Buried facing a barrage of questions from the press.
How do you feel? Very good. Better every day.
Despite it all, his love for his second home and its people, undeterred.
I think this is a special time in Iran, and they're going through a very weird period. But Iranians are decent people.
Decades later, the pain, still there.
I'm absolutely angry at what was done to all of us. Even at my age right now, age of 82, I feel the impact and the effects of that takeover. It has not left me at all.
You still have moments, dreams, nightmares?
No, I don't have dreams or nightmares. I just have sometimes feelings of fear, even walking in the street when there's nothing going on.
The home they once knew now seems so far away. Still, Barry and John have hope that the place and the people they know and love will persist.
What are we going to accomplish by dropping bombs? If there's going to be real change, it's got to come from inside. It's got to be the Iranians who do this. We can only go so far.
But John's Iranian wife supports the strike that killed the supreme leader.
I thought that's the best way to go to get Iran. That brutal regime has to go. This is the only way.
So what I hear you say is that before me are two people who disagree about the tactics, but are both hopeful that the outcome, whatever it might be, is more hopeful than today.
We want to be able to take our grandchildren back to Iran. We both want the same thing. We want a better future.
Do you think you will someday return to visit the Iran that you love?
I would love to. I would love to see Iran again. But the Iran that I might be seeing is an Iran that's in total shambles. It's not the place that I knew.
Hats off to the men, and our thanks to Byron. And stay with Nightline and ABC News for continuing coverage of the war. When we come back, Harry Styles speaking out about the death of his former bandmate and friend, Liam Payne. For the first time, global pop star Harry Styles is speaking out on camera about the tragic death of his former One Direction bandmate, Liam Payne, sharing how the devastating loss profoundly changed his life and what he's doing now to honor his friend. Here's ABC's Sam Champion.
Does it ever drive you crazy just how fast the night changes?
Harry Styles speaking out about the death of his friend and former bandmate Liam Payne for the very first time on camera.
It's so difficult to lose a friend who is so like you in so many ways.
The 32-year-old singer, who's out promoting his fourth solo studio album, Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally, admitting in the sweeping interview that he had a difficult time sharing his grief following Payne's very public death in October 2024 at the age of 31.
I have such strong feelings around my friend passing away. And then suddenly being, like aware of there's maybe like a desire from other people of you to convey that in some way. Or it means you're not feeling what you're feeling or something,
Payne fell from a third-floor hotel balcony in Buenos Aires, Argentina, following a long public battle with drugs and alcohol. Styles and Payne met in 2010 while competing as solo contestants on the X Factor UK.
I like you, Harry. I'm going to say yes. You've definitely got it, whatever it is that you've got it.
Thank you, Chef. Eventually, they were paired with Niall Horan, Louis Tomlinson, and Zayn Malik to form the group One Direction.
Nobody can drag me down.
The group would go on to sell over 50 million records and fill up stadiums around the world. But the band broke up in 2015, and while they all went on solo careers, there hasn't been an official band reunion. The remaining four members coming together publicly for the first time for Payne's memorial. Styles confessing that Payne's death made him look at his own life differently.
It was a really important moment for me in terms of taking a look at my life and being able to say to myself, how do I want to live my life? And I think the greatest way you can honor your friends who pass away is by living your life to the fullest.
Our thanks to Sam. Up next, remembering Jesse Jackson, the civil rights icon still inspiring hope, and that moving musical tribute from Jennifer Hudson. And finally tonight, 3 former American presidents are among the thousands saying a final goodbye to Reverend Jesse Jackson. Here's ABC's Pierre Thomas.
They came today 10,000 strong to help keep hope alive. Not for a funeral, but a black church-style homegoing service to celebrate the life and legacy of Jesse Jackson. Civil rights legend and major American political figure. There was the enraptured singing of joy.
Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Now get me back down on my knees.
The man who was the bridge between Martin Luther King Jr. and Barack Obama, whose run for the presidency in the 1980s paved the way for the push for diversity in American politics.
He invited us to believe in our own power to change America for the better.
And Obama made clear that without Jesse Jackson, there would be no Obama presidency.
He paved the road for so many others to follow. He was talking about everyone who was left out, everyone who was forgotten, everyone who was unseen.
The man known as a country preacher honored today not just by Obama, but 2 other presidents, Bill Clinton.
I'm here more as a friend than a former president. He was my friend when I needed it.
And Joe Biden.
He changed history in ways numerous and profound.
And former Vice President Kamala Harris.
Well done, good and faithful servant. Well done. Thank you.
It's quite a legacy. Our thanks to Pierre. That's Nightline. You can watch all of our full episodes on Disney Plus and Hulu. We'll see you right back here Monday, same time. Thanks for staying up with us. Good night, America. Have a great weekend.